news from Spokane Valley, where a brush fire is burning 2 acres near Mirbeau Park right now. It started just after 3 o'clock. Here's a live look at the scene. 6 fire engines from Spokane Valley Fire and Spokane Fire District 8 are trying to knock this down. You can see quite a lot of smoke in the area. Fire crews say they are battling heavy winds out there. There have been no evacuation orders, although this is nearby a park. Spokane Valley did not say if any buildings were threatened. We'll keep an eye on this for you as it develops. You can download the 4 News Now app to get the latest information no matter where you are or what time it is. We go now to the Story Tracker, following the biggest stories online at this hour. The entire nation talking about immigration enforcement raids happening right now in 9 major cities. Today, agents began looking for 2,000 people who are in the country illegally from Los Angeles to New York. The agency says the immigrants being targeted have already been court-ordered to leave the U.S. Migrant advocates say ICE is unnecessarily tearing families apart. We'll take a closer look at both sides at 6:12. Down goes Roger Federer. Novak Djokovic claimed the Wimbledon victory today in a grueling final against the tennis legend. The match lasted nearly 5 hours, the longest singles final in Wimbledon history. More on that in sports.
And taking a look at your first weather, we saw some high temperatures today in the 80s, some even reaching 90s today. Let's take a look at Spokane at 81 degrees, Coeur d'Alene at 81, and you can see Moses Lake at 88 degrees and Lewiston at 90. So definitely a warming trend this week, and we definitely saw some warm temperatures all weekend long. And taking a look right now, Spokane is at 82 degrees currently, Coeur d'Alene at 81, and Moses Lake at 89. So definitely still some toasty temperatures, and if we take a look at our satellite and radar, we can see that we do have some cloud coverage moving in on Spokane right now, and it's not too much, but that's going to accumulate as we head into the rest of the week, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But what does your day planner look like for tomorrow at 8 a.m.? We have 63 degrees at noon, 72, and then we're going to warm up at about 4 p.m. to 77, but there is going to be a lot of cloud cover. I'll tell you what that looks like for the rest of the week coming up.
Thank you. 2 Eastern Washington football players are recovering in the hospital after someone shot them early Saturday morning. It happened in the middle of a crowded downtown bar scene.
2 guys got shot and collapsed right in front of our building, right by our door.
Police still investigating who shot the 2 Eastern student athletes. The university says 21-year-old Keith Moore and 22-year-old Dante Hayes were both seriously injured. They are expected to survive, though. Moore and Hayes are defensive starters for the Eags. Police haven't said who shot the 2 men or why, but some people who live in that area say they were not surprised to hear gunshots that night.
Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, this place is a riot down here. I mean, you've got all kinds of fights, 7 or 8 cop cars.
In a statement, Eastern said the university's first priority is to provide support and comfort to the students, their families, and their friends. The statement says athletic director Lynn Hickey and other school leadership are now working with head football coach Aaron Best to monitor the situation. Eastern said police will release any new details about the investigation. Take a look at this. The building, which used to be Coeur d'Alene's Garden Motel, caught fire early this morning. Dozens of crews rushed to help fight it. The good news, no one was hurt. The building had been abandoned for years, but that didn't make it any less scary for the men and women who work and live nearby. Some of them relived their morning with 4 News Now reporter Taylor Graham.
Even though it's abandoned and slated to be torn down for a new hotel, the old Garden Motel has been a constant on Northwest Boulevard for years. And neighbors here say there's really not much that can prepare you for seeing it go up in flames.
The flames just kicked up out of the lower story, and it was so intense that the flames were actually blowing bits of the roofing and gutter off.
It stopped Bailey Jones in her tracks as she went through the motions of her morning at Lean Bean Coffee.
I just was handing coffee out the window and saw the smoke, and then not even a minute later, it was huge flames. It's crazy to see. I've never seen a fire this close before, especially in the building next to where I work every day.
The fire could have threatened Bailey's work and so many others' homes, like Joe Abate, who lives across the street.
I immediately shouted fire and went outside and told people to start moving their cars. And then I ran through a street back behind the building and made sure no one was in the buildings right behind what was burning. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was out and okay.
Joe says the abandoned motel is often home to squatters, which was a concern for the 28 firefighters on scene this morning. Thankfully, though, there have been no reports of injuries or deaths. The only loss, this old motel, a one-time fixture on Northwest Boulevard.
Now, Coeur d'Alene Fire still isn't exactly sure what caused this morning's fire, but they do expect to have a better idea on that tomorrow. So we'll be sure to keep you posted as we learn more. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Taylor Graham, 4 News Now.
Thank you so much, Taylor. A wildfire is burning about 1,500 acres in the Saddle Mountains near Manawa right now. The Grand County Sheriff's Office says it's burning in grass and brush in a rural area where no one lives, so no evacuations have been ordered at this time. Both local and federal fire resources are fighting this. Take a look at all that smoke. If you live anywhere near this area, you don't need to do anything yet, but you are asked to stay updated on the fire situation and know that you might see firefighting aircrafts in the sky. Now, for the thousands of firefighters across the country who work to protect their communities from wildfires just like that one, the intense summer season can be followed by long and lonely off seasons. Federal wildland firefighting authorities say they're seeing what they believe is an increase in firefighter suicides. It's hard to be sure as federal agencies can't keep track of the deaths that happen outside of work hours, but there is enough concern that the National Interagency Fire Center is increasing mental health resources for firefighters. Psychologists suggest the high intensity and camaraderie of the wildfire season makes for a feeling of isolation in the off months and sometimes financial concerns without that steady income. Police in Tacoma shot and killed a man who they say was trying to burn down an immigration detention center. It happened around 4 o'clock Saturday morning outside the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Northwest Detention Center. Police say 69-year-old Willem Van Spronsen was holding a rifle when he set fire to a car, tried to light a propane tank on fire, and set fire to the building. Police say when he wouldn't respond to their commands, all 4 officers fired, killing the man. Investigators still have some unanswered questions, though.
Of the investigation, we just know that he was trying to set the detention center on fire. Don't know what his motivation was, or why anyone would try to set a concrete building on fire.
Tacoma police say the officers were not wearing body cameras, but that facility is covered with surveillance cameras, which will be used in the investigation. Spokane's historic Garland Theater is for sale. Well, the business is. Owner Catherine Fritchie tells us she's leaving theater operations to focus on nonprofit work and other properties that she owns in Browns Addition. She will remain the owner of the actual building. Fritchie has listed the business for $415,000. The Garland Theater brings in about $115,000 per year. Get ready to see a whole lot more of this. We are so excited about it. The city of Spokane testing out the new light display on the Riverfront Park Pavilion. The lights were installed over the last few months, and when the pavilion reopens this fall, the new lights will be used during concerts and other nighttime events at the park. Just ahead on 4 News Now at 5 o'clock, one of the world's busiest cities in the dark. What's to blame for the power outage that shut down the Big Apple last night? Then ICE agents setting out today to round up those in the country illegally, while local law enforcement in some major cities say they won't be helping.